In at number 10, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis and his family have announced that he will be retiring from acting due to health issues. In a social media post, his family announced that the 67-year-old acting legend was forced to step away from the big screen because of struggles with his health, namely because of aphasia, a condition that, quote, robs you of the ability to communicate. It can affect your ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written. It's often caused by a stroke or head injury. This came as a shock to fans as there's been no news that Willis had a stroke or anything similar that would have triggered this. Willis has many projects completed that are not yet released, so fans will still get to see him on screen in these projects. The statement said in part, quote, "To Bruce's amazing supporters, as a family, we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and has recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that's meant so much to him." In at number 9, Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez has been very vocal about her struggles with autoimmune disease, lupus. Lupus is an inflammatory disease that causes the immune system to attack its own healthy tissue. Her lupus got so bad in 2017 that she had to undergo a kidney transplant. She was given a kidney from her fellow actress and BFF Francia Raisa. When speaking about the transplant, Gomez said, quote, "Maybe I wasn't necessarily really good at knowing what that meant, so it actually got to a point where it was life or death. Thankfully, one of my best friends gave me her kidney, and it was the ultimate gift of life. I am now doing quite well." Lupus has slowed Selena down and she is not able to work at the pace she once did, but as of now she is happily working at a slowed pace.
She volunteered and did it, and let alone somebody wanting to volunteer, it is incredibly difficult to find a match. The fact that she was a match, I mean, that's unbelievable.
In at number 8, Hailey Baldwin. In 2022, Hailey went through a terrifying health scare when she had a mild stroke. She spoke about the event in March of 2022, saying she had an encounter where she experienced, quote, "stroke-like symptoms" and was taken to the hospital. Adding, quote, "They found I had suffered a very small blood clot in my brain, which caused a small lack of oxygen, but my body had passed it on its own and I recovered completely within a few hours." She revealed that she was now recovering at home and was fine. Hailey recalled that she was having breakfast with her husband when she started to exhibit symptoms of a stroke, and she was rushed to the hospital, but before arriving, she had already passed the clot herself. I would assume this incident has changed how she will live her life going forward. In at number 7, Julie Andrews. Julie Andrews suffered a common throat issue that caused her to lose her iconic singing voice for good. Andrews suffered from throat nodules, which is a growth on the vocal cord which can result in damage to speaking or singing voice. The issue was so bad that Andrews needed to get surgery if she wanted any chance of fixing her singing voice. She underwent throat surgery in 1999 to treat her throat nodules, but sadly the surgery went wrong, ending her golden career of singing for good. She blamed the surgeons for botching her surgery, as both her singing and speaking voice were damaged from the surgery. Doctors initially said that the condition was only temporary and she would improve over time when she healed, but that was a lie. Over 2 years later, she was still not fully recovered, and her voice was still fried. After getting no real answers or results, she decided to sue the surgeons. Julie Andrews had 4 surgeries that restored her speaking voice to normal, but her singing voice is still not what it once was, and she can now no longer do it professionally. In at number 6, Celine Dion. Celine Dion was forced to postpone her world tour after she started suffering muscle spasms that made it difficult for her to perform everyday tasks, let alone perform a world tour. Initially, she only cancelled one leg of her tour, hoping to recover in time to do at least some part of the scheduled tour. However, that was not the case, and in January of 2022, she cancelled the 19 remaining North American tour dates from March 9th to April 22nd. She said in a statement at the time, quote, "I was really hoping that I'd be good to go by now, but I suppose I just have to be more patient and follow the regimen that my doctors are prescribing." Adding, quote, "There's a lot of organizing and preparation that goes into our shows, and so we have to make decisions today which will affect the plans 2 months down the road." As of now, it doesn't seem like she's made much progress toward recovery, and this could mean the end of her career. Halfway number 5, Lilly Singh. Lilly Singh shared that she was sent to the ER because of a health issue. In February of 2022, Lilly posted to social media a photo of herself in the hospital with the caption, quote, "Spent the last day in the ER because my ovaries have the audacity to be wilding out. Both of them have cysts. And I'm just here like, really? Let me understand this. You're gonna make me suffer once a month and then in addition, stab me in between periods. LOL, wow, the entitlement, the nerve, I'm weak." Lilly was diagnosed with ovarian cysts, which are somewhat common in women. Mayo Clinic states that, quote, "Many women have ovarian cysts at some time, and most present little or no discomfort and are harmless. But large or ruptured cysts can cause serious issues like pelvic pain, fullness or heaviness in the abdomen when bloating." In at number 4, Sarah Hyland. Sarah Hyland was diagnosed with kidney dysplasia as a baby and has gone through many surgeries throughout her life to try and fix the abnormalities in her kidneys. At the age of 28, Hyland estimated that she had about 16 surgeries in her life at that point, adding that 16 of them took place within the last 16 months. In her life, she's had 2 kidney transplants. One kidney was given to her by her father in 2012, however that transplant failed and her body rejected the new organ. She spoke about the experience with self, saying, quote, "I was very depressed. When a family member gives you a second chance at life and it fails, it almost feels like it's your fault. It's not, but it does." She has also needed the help of dialysis at times, and in 2017 she chose a dialysis location close to the Modern Family set so she could more easily balance her work and her illness. In at number 3, Jessie J. Jessie J was hospitalized in December of 2020 after she woke up not being able to hear in her right ear, along with other strange symptoms like not being able to walk in a straight line. After getting medical attention, she learned that she suffered from Meniere's syndrome, which is an inner ear condition that can cause vertigo and dizziness. She revealed on social media that many people had reached out to her to give her advice on this condition. She also revealed the condition makes it very difficult for her to sing without any pain. She was happy she decided to go to the hospital as her treatment has made living with the condition much easier. In August of 2021, she said that she could not, quote, "sing with ease" after dealing with pain for several months, stating that after 6 months of treatment, she still could not get through a full day without any pain. Adding, quote, "Worst part is that it's not my vocal cords. They are healthy and they are in there with their hands up like, 'Not us, Jay, we got you.' It's something around them. Spine, thyroid, allergy, who knows? The tests continue, and there is a high chance this could end her career." And at number 2, Shailene Woodley. Shailene Woodley revealed in 2021 that she suffered with a debilitating health condition, but did not give details on what exactly it was. She said she, quote, "felt isolated and alone while battling this condition," telling The Hollywood Reporter in July of 2021, quote, "I said no to a lot of projects, not because I wanted to, but because I physically couldn't participate in them. And I definitely suffered a lot more than I had to because I didn't take care of myself. The self-inflicted pressure of not wanting to be helped or taken care of created more physical unrest throughout those years." She noted that this condition was invisible, and Woodley felt that a, quote, "broken arm or leg would have been more obvious," explaining, quote, "It's really difficult for people to relate to the pain that you're experiencing when it's a silent, quiet, and invisible pain." She gave no details on if she's recovered, but we know it put a huge stall in her acting career. And finally at number 1, Kevin Smith. Actor and comedian Kevin Smith suffered a massive heart attack in 2018 while he was on tour. Smith told his fans about the terrifying incident the next day, saying that after one of his shows he was feeling nauseous, but vomiting didn't seem to help, and then he began, quote, "sweating buckets" and experiencing a heaviness in his chest. The next day he knew he needed to go to the hospital, and when he arrived they told him he had a 100% blockage of his left anterior artery, which is usually not survivable. His doctors even told him that if he had decided to perform that night instead of going to see them, he most likely would have died. The incident was even more traumatic for Smith as his father passed of a heart attack in 2003. After the scary experience, Smith vowed to make changes in his life, and years later he got healthy and even became a vegan to limit his risk. And at number 10, Emilia Clarke. Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke recently revealed that she suffered from multiple brain aneurysms while she was filming Game of Thrones, and it was so bad at some points that she thought she was done acting for good. The only way she was able to get better was undergoing multiple life-saving surgeries during filming breaks. Clarke revealed the details in a piece she wrote for The New Yorker. Apparently after she was done filming season 1 of the show, she suffered a brain hemorrhage while at a London gym, saying she felt like an elastic band was squeezing her brain. She then had surgery to fix this, but said afterwards that she was so mentally unwell she could barely remember her own name. Because of these aneurysms, she now suffers with permanent speech issues which have affected her ability to work. And at number 9, Paul Triple H Levesque. The WWE star was forced to retire from wrestling in March of 2022 after a heart issue that required surgery. He spoke with Stephen A. Smith, telling ESPN, quote, "As far as in ring, which I get asked about a lot, I'm done. I would never wrestle again. First, I have a defibrillator in my chest, which is probably not a good idea for me to get zapped on live TV. It all started in fall of 2021 when he got pneumonia. This led to fluid building up around his lungs and heart, causing significant damage. By the time he had heart surgery in November of that year, his heart was only pumping at 12% when it should be 55 to 60%. He said that before surgery his heart was failing, adding, quote, "I was sort of at the 1-yard line of where you need to be, or where you don't want to be really, for your family and for your future. And at number 8, Cher. Cher's been open about her diagnosis of Epstein-Barr virus, which the singer contracted in the early 90s. This virus is a member of the herpes family and can physically affect people for weeks, although it stays in a person's system for life. Although it's never been officially confirmed, it's been rumored that the virus has taken such a toll on her health, it's affected her ability to perform. It was alleged that she had taken 3 years off from work because she was struggling with the illness, along with going to Germany for specialized treatment. It was even reported that she was close to death at some points, but these claims were never confirmed by Cher herself. As of now, there's no cure for the illness, but Cher manages it through various treatments, and she now works as much as her body can handle. In at number 7, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods has had a lot of ups and downs in his career. After his cheating scandal, he took a long break to recover mentally and physically, and he managed to come out on top once again. However, in 2021, that progress came to a halt when Woods was involved in a life-threatening car accident that caused significant damage to his body. It was reported that Woods was driving way above the speed limit, 90 miles an hour, on a one-lane road. When a turn approached, Woods made no attempt to steer, and his car basically drove off a cliff. After the crash, Woods suffered significant damage to his right leg, according to ABC News. He underwent surgeries to save not only his life, but his limbs. Woods started his long recovery and has now started to play professionally again, however, not at the level that he was before. And at number 6, Mark Ruffalo. Back in 2001, Ruffalo was at the height of his career, but that was put on hold when he discovered he had a brain tumor. He told New York Magazine in 2003 that one morning he woke up and just knew he had a tumor. After seeing a doctor, he was diagnosed with acoustic neuroma, which can cause some of the same symptoms as vertigo, which are dizziness, loss of balance, and lack of coordination. The crazy part is that Ruffalo did not have any of these symptoms. He just had a gut feeling. The tumor needed to be operated on immediately, but there was a 30% risk of facial paralysis. After Ruffalo decided to go forward with this surgery, the tumor was removed, but his face was left partially paralyzed, which of course had a huge impact on his acting career. After this, he went through a very dark period in his life and isolated himself from everyone. Thankfully, Ruffalo was able to make a full recovery and is now back working. Halfway number 5, Evan Handler. Actor Evan Handler, best known for his role in Sex and the City as Harry Goldenblatt, was diagnosed with cancer when he was only 24 years old. The cancer was acute leukemia, which starts in the bone marrow and then often quickly moves into the blood, spreading to other parts of the body. At the time he was diagnosed, Handler was not expected to live. Not only were the treatments physically taxing, it was emotionally exhausting. After a bone marrow transplant in 1988, he was miraculously able to recover. At the time of his diagnosis and transplant, his acting career had no choice but to take a back seat. But after he made it through, he came back to acting in 1991 and snagged his Sex and the City role years later. And at number 4, Courtney Love. Courtney Love struggled with severe anemia that significantly affected her ability to work. Love announced her diagnosis on March 14th of 2021 and revealed that she struggled with the disease for the last year. Anemia happens when you're lacking red blood cells needed to carry adequate oxygen to your body's tissues, and the illness can cause extreme fatigue, weakness, and chest pain. Love revealed her anemia left her bedridden and frail. At one point, she weighed as little as 97 pounds and was not certain if she would recover. She also shared how doctors at first did not believe her and most likely assumed that she was just exaggerating her pain levels to get painkillers. Now that she's recovered, she's working with a pain management specialist so she can get back to working full time. In at number 3, Lil Wayne. In 2013, Lil Wayne had a shocking health scare when he was found unconscious in his recording studio by a bodyguard. He was immediately rushed to the hospital where he was put in a medically induced coma because he was having uncontrollable seizures. At the time, TMZ reported that the rapper was in critical condition and resting. This incident came 6 months after Wayne was hospitalized for seizures while on a private jet, so it became clear that this was a very serious issue that needed to be resolved. Later in 2013, Wayne revealed that he was epileptic, saying, quote, "This isn't my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh seizure. I've had a bunch of seizures, y'all just never heard about them. But this time was a lot more serious because he had 3 in a row, and after the third, his heart rate had significantly dropped. He was prescribed anti-seizure medication that had moderate success, but still struggles with them to this day." In at number 2, Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong was once hailed as the greatest cyclist in the world. That was until he was exposed as a cheater. But in the height of his career, he was diagnosed with cancer, and after battling the life-threatening disease, he was able to return to greatness. When Armstrong won the 1999 Tour de France, it was a shocking victory, since 3 years earlier he had been diagnosed with metastatic testicular cancer. Armstrong was in a more critical condition than most people diagnosed because he decided to ignore early warning signs. By the time he was officially diagnosed, the cancer had spread to other parts of his body and his prognosis was looking very slim. Aggressive treatments caused his body to deteriorate and seemed to end his cycling career. But thankfully these treatments worked and he was able to recover enough to continue to compete professionally. Although his legacy was tarnished completely when it was later exposed that he had cheated and did not legitimately win his races. And finally, number 1, Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox revealed that he was suffering with Parkinson's disease in 1998, years after discovering it at the age of 29 when he was diagnosed with young-onset Parkinson's. After he went public about his diagnosis, he started raising awareness for the disease. Parkinson's disease is a brain disorder that leads to shaking, stiffness, and difficulty with walking, balance, and coordination. Parkinson's symptoms usually begin gradually and get worse over time. He even decided to start a foundation to find a cure. His Michael J. Fox Foundation has funded more than $800 million in medical research to date. His condition is gradually getting worse, but he's hopeful for the future. And at number 10, Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez has been very open about her struggles with autoimmune disease, lupus. Lupus is an inflammatory disease that causes the immune system to attack its own healthy tissue. Her lupus got so bad in 2017 that she had to undergo a kidney transplant. She was given a kidney from her fellow actress and BFF, Francia Raisa. When speaking about the transplant, Gomez said, quote, "Maybe I wasn't necessarily really good at knowing what that meant, so it actually got to a point where it was life or death. Thankfully, one of my best friends gave me her kidney, and it was the ultimate gift of life, and I'm doing quite well now." And at number 9, Nick Jonas. Former Disney star Nick Jonas was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was only 13 years old, and he's one of the 1.25 million Americans that suffer from the illness. When he was younger, it was hard for him to manage his work and the struggles of the illness. However, after some time and help from his family, he found a schedule that worked for him. Jonas also spreads awareness about type 1 diabetes whenever he can. While accepting an award in 2017, he told the crowd, quote, "This is truly incredible. These kids who are up here all have type 1 diabetes like myself. This is a disease I was diagnosed with when I was 13. It was a moment in my life when I was just getting ready to start making music with my brothers and touring, and it was something that I thought would slow me down before I even got started." But thankfully for Nick, that wasn't the case. And at number 8, Emilia Clarke. Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke recently revealed that she suffered from multiple brain aneurysms while she was filming Game of Thrones, and she had to have multiple life-saving surgeries. Clarke revealed the details in a piece she wrote for The New Yorker. Apparently, after she was done filming season 1 of the show, she suffered a brain hemorrhage while at a London gym. She said she felt like an elastic band was squeezing her brain. She was rushed to the hospital where she underwent brain surgery, and she said she couldn't even remember her own name. However, weeks later she did return to filming, even though she had another growth on her brain that doctors were concerned about. She had multiple other bursts that forced her into more surgery, and now she suffers with permanent speech issues because of it. And at number 7, Claire Foy. Actress Claire Foy has been open about the invisible illness she suffers from, anxiety. When speaking about her experience, she said, quote, "It's purely about that feeling in the pit of your stomach and the feeling that you can't because you're this or you're that. It's my mind working 1,000 beats a second and running away with a thought." Foy revealed it all started when her parents got a divorce at the age of 8. She tried to people please so nobody would fight, but that led her to overthink and turn into anxiety. She got help from a therapist and says, quote, "Now I'm able to dissociate myself from it more. I know that it's just something I have, and that I can take care of myself." And at number 6, Bella Hadid. Bella Hadid suffers from the same illness her mother Yolanda Hadid has, Lyme disease. After Bella was diagnosed, she claimed she felt hopeless, but she's learned to adapt her routines to her new limitations. Bella told The Guardian in 2016, quote, "It starts with brain fog. For a while I couldn't put sentences together. I'm really tired a lot. A few weeks ago I had a big campaign shoot that I had to reschedule. It's hard, but I pushed through because at the end of the day, if you're not working, somebody else is." When she was diagnosed in 2012, she thought she was going to be riding horses for the rest of her life, but the disease stopped those plans in its tracks. However, Bella says everything happens for a reason and she's happy with how things turned out. Halfway at number 5, Selma Blair. Selma Blair revealed that she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, or MS, on Instagram in October of 2018. MS is a condition that can affect the brain and spinal cord, causing problems with vision, arm or leg movement, sensation, or balance. When discussing her diagnosis, Blair said she knew that something was wrong and she'd felt off for years. However, she just thought it was something minor like a pinched nerve. As the disease has progressed, Blair now walks with a cane and continues to be open about her condition on social media. In at number 4, Roger Federer. Roger Federer was forced to drop out of the US Open in August of 2021 because he needed an operation on his knee. This was the third one he was forced to undergo after injuries from playing. He said in a statement at the time, quote, "I've been doing a lot of check-in with doctors as well on my knee, getting all the information, as I hurt myself further during the grass court season and Wimbledon. Unfortunately, they told me for the medium to long term to feel better, I will need surgery, so I decide I will do it. I will be on crutches for many weeks and then also out of the game for many months." He was hoping that after the surgery he would be well enough to play again for many years to come, but it doesn't look like it. In 2022, Federer announced that he would not be competing in January's Australian Open and would be incredibly surprised to return in time for Wimbledon in 2022. Many experts claim he is nearing the end of his career. And at number 3, Kim Kardashian West. Kim first revealed her struggle with skin condition psoriasis on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. During the episode, Kris revealed that she also suffers from psoriasis, and that's most likely how Kim got it. Psoriasis is a skin disease that causes red, itchy, scaly patches, most commonly on the knees, elbows, trunk, and scalp. Psoriasis is a common long-term chronic disease, currently with no cure. Kim has been open about her struggle with the disease and the flare-ups that will occur. However, she has been vigorously treating it. She told People in 2017, quote, "I've been using this light, and I don't want to speak too soon because the psoriasis is almost gone, but I've been using this light therapy and my psoriasis is like 60% gone. Hopefully it's manageable for her now." And at number 2, Gabrielle Union. Endometriosis occurs when the tissue that normally lines the uterus grows into the muscular wall of the uterus, and it can be hard to catch because the tissue still acts normally and sheds each cycle. This has caused Union to have extreme fertility issues, which she shared openly. Union discussed this on Dr. Oz, saying, quote, "Fertility is not an older women's issue. It's an issue, period." She's also admitted that she has had countless miscarriages. She says she's lost count, but claims it's about 8 or 9 miscarriages at this point. She discusses more about her fertility issue in her new book, We're Going to Need More Wine, and she discusses how she's trying IVF treatment to get pregnant. However, this didn't work and the couple went the surrogacy route and now have a beautiful daughter. And finally, number 1, Joshua Bassett. In the midst of his love triangle drama with Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter, Bassett was rushed to the hospital for near-fatal septic shock and heart failure. He told GQ in June of 2021, quote, "I started getting very ill and it kept getting worse. I thought it was like food poisoning or whatever. It got worse, it got worse, it got worse, it got worse." The scare actually happened the same day he released the song Lie Lie Lie, which was a response to Rodrigo's song Driver's License, which was about Bassett. He revealed that the stress surrounding him at that time was a big part of the reason he came down with this illness. He said at the time, quote, "The doctors told me that I had a 30% chance of survival. They told me that if I had not checked into the hospital within 12 hours, I would have been found dead in my apartment." So very, very serious stuff. I don't know if that is a permanent condition that might impact him in the future, but I'm sure it's made him really think twice about the work that he's doing and especially the stress levels.